Makosi makhulu bogogo nomkhulu.
All right, TMS family, I'm here in Soweto because I'm about to bring you some very smooth, heartwarming, healing sounds. You can hear behind me, the band Santa Experiment is getting ready to treat us into what they call healing music. They've been together for about 8 years. They got together in 2014, officially started things in 2015, and this year they're getting ready to release a new body of work. And I'm telling you, this is going to be good. Who would have thought a vuvuzela in music? I'm telling you. And maybe I might just feature inside. Let's go check it out. Now, Wizi, before we get any further, tell me about the name, Sankla. It's a very specific name. What's the story behind it?
Yes. Santa Experiment. Well, Santa simply means that the sun is out.
Yeah.
So we thought just saying the sun is out is such a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a whole poem right there.
Yeah. So we decided, let's find another way that just will make it authentically who we are. And we discovered that ka means out. So we're like, sun, ka, perfect. Experiment.
Oh man, I love that. I love that so much. And I mean, even adding the tambourine that I brought in, it actually adds into the sound. Tell me a little bit more about your sound. Why this is that sound? What's the inspiration behind it?
Actually, our sound is a reflection of each and every one of us. Because our sound, when we make it, it's usually an improvisation.
Yeah.
So once you hear the whole full setup and the whole full song, it's actually something that we started without meaning. But because we're all so connected to one another, and then it's brought and it comes out. It's just us just reflecting who we are and how we feel at that certain moment.
Oh man, I love that because everybody's character also comes out in the music. It's 8 years of Santa Experiment this year, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, staying together for 8 years, yeah, it must be tough, man. It must be tough. There's fights, I'm sure. You don't have to tell me about that.
Probably pictures I've seen that there have been different faces and stuff, but what we loved is that we've been able to keep the core essence of who we are and the message that we've been wanting to.
That's what I'm interested in, is how do you keep that for so many years to still stay true to what made you start it 8 years ago?
We pray together, we eat together. We're more than just friends or colleagues. We're more like brothers and sisters. Like literally, we cry for one another. We're there for always one another. So we're more than just musical band members. We are family.
You spoke about this place and how you wanted to always feel like home. I mean, I'm looking around and I can see music is a big thing for you. I mean, there's vinyl sitting there. I'm seeing all these instruments. Was this something that you did intentionally to keep music around you while you're making music in the space?
Probably the earliest vinyl we have there, it's around 1930s. Wow. But if you go back, we've got a whole lot of South African archives hidden in there. We've got Batumi, Sakile, Stime. There's so much we take off. The sound that you hear, Santa Experiment, is very much influenced by those people who actually have done it. You know, South Africa's always had this rich sound of music, and we're reviving that sound all over again.
Oh wow, I like that because it's the rich sound of South Africa from back then, not just what's here now, and also kind of keeping it alive and taking care of it. One of the things you've always spoken about when it comes to Santa Experiment, you've spoken about how the music is healing.
Yes.
And how does this music heal you, if I can ask you?
I think we service ourselves before we actually go and service people when we perform. We usually say we service because we actually see ourselves not just as musicians, but we see ourselves as instruments to actually help people release sometimes. Sometimes we never get time to just release and find ourselves in that space. Let me just find that comfort space. You know, it's very hard. It's been hard. COVID has been the worst of times, but during that time, as Santa Experiment, we all sat down together and revived our energies and saki podwe lethu Kule Kambi, because our previous album is called Umculo Umuthi.
Yeah.
We had to attest to what was previously and now remind ourselves ukuthi above and beyond just being healed. What's more important is the love that comes from you from within. And this new music that we are doing, it exudes the love that we all have for one another.
Yeah, and I like that because I was going to go into that and speaking about how your previous album spoke about how music is healing. Music is the medicine that we need. But I want to go to a tweet you posted some time ago where you said something really interesting. You said, we are more than just a music display. We are an art exhibition. We are feeling. Give me more detail about this.
Our music, when you actually see us on stage, we just don't only feed you the ear. We usually say that it's a whole sense, all your senses, your sense of hearing, your sense of touch, your sense of everything is awakened, you know. Like when you hear our sound, you immediately get goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's already feeling
Yeah.
in its own presence, you know. And another thing that you usually say is that we are not pleased by applause or cheers. We love it when we hear silence. Because at that moment, music speaks to you. It's talking to you. This coming month in April, we're actually recording our album. It's going to be a 5-track album.
Oh,
It's going to be
man.
filled by some amazing sounds.
Yeah.
It's going to take you from one place to another.
Oh, man,
there are
I'm
different
so
songs
excited
in
about
there.
it.
There's another song that we really love from our core. It's called Babegile. What I love about that song is that we usually say that even if you hide, you can go to the deepest hole and try to hide. Oh, no munjonja, and thinking that nobody sees you. You always check at the back. Who's watching you? It's actually your conscious, your ancestors. They are with you all the time. It's
Sure.
about being in line with who you are and also knowing that awukho wedwa. Even if you find those hard times, always know that you can always tap to another source that is still you, that can get you to a different place.
Okay, Bricio, thank you so much for having us. It was absolutely awesome, and I'm loving the sound. But I heard you say you're recording in April only.
Yes,
So you haven't recorded yet.
No.
If in a space you need someone, I think I fit in.
Exactly.
I want to slender, never grow tired, just like the rest of the band. Yeah, you want to.
Yes, definitely.
Well, you want to make sure that you go check out Soundcloud Experiment, and you want to make sure that you stream their music, get to their concerts, experience this very different, very authentic and piece of African music and culture that goes beyond just what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, all 5 senses. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us. There's still so much more coming up right here on TMS.